I used to believe in this hobby, like really believe in it. And I trusted the companies. I trusted Tops. I trusted Panini. I trusted Fanatics. I trusted the breakers. I trusted even the community. But lately, it feels like everything I loved about collecting is really slipping away. Today, I'm going to share three stories that made me feel absolutely betrayed by our hobby. Stories that kind of shook me to the core and might hit close for you at home as well. But before I get into them, let's talk about what's really going on. And real quick, if you're tired of being left in the dark while this stuff happens, join the Sports Card Hustlers Insider List. I send just one email a month, box release dates, restock info, shady stuff you won't hear anywhere else. Maybe even card shows and national card shows and stuff like that, when the dates are and things like that. Just comment insider below and I'll send you the link, and we'll give you one coming out within the next week. I know I've been saying over weeks, but school's been crazy, and school's getting done now, teaching's getting done now. So next week I'll have a lot of time to send this email out. So be ready for it next week, middle of June, and I'll show you when things are coming out and stuff like that. So comment insider again, and free of charge. Hit the link, sign up with your email. There's no like spam, no $5, $10, $20 thing, just free of charge, whatever that could be. So before we get into it, like get into the actual stories, let's just be honest. Like, the hobby doesn't feel like it's for regular collectors like you and I anymore. And that's been over the last few years. I know it's nothing crazy, nothing new, but over the last few years. The average person walks into Target or Walmart and finds nothing. Like, I may have found, over the Walmarts that I go to, the Targets that I go to, I probably have found baseball cards, at least baseball cards that I'm looking for, one or two times in the actual thing. I found Bowman when it first came out, and I found Top Series 1 when it first came out, and then probably Heritage. Those are the three that I have seen. I haven't seen any other baseball cards, and I have been to three or four Targets, three or four Walmarts, maybe more than that. I've kind of lost count. And, it doesn't feel like it's for us anymore, because you go to these places and you find nothing. Like, I want to get a Topps Heritage blaster box that's 25 bucks, whatever, and open it with my kids or do it for our pack a day challenge, whatever that could be. And, I can't even find that. I got to order online for, $10 more than it actually should be. So, you know, even going online now, you're fighting bots, and or you're paying triple on the secondary market, with Topps Chrome coming out, or an update like last year, or other ones that are very popular. And I get that, but I'm not a person that's not going to pay triple price for a box. And I hope you are too, because then that's just feeding into the craziness market. But and then maybe you do find something, and when you do buy something, the odds are so bad that it's almost not even worth it. Companies say it's limited, but it's really just being rerouted into backdoor deals, being flipped, or even being hoarded by shops and influencers. So, like, remember when the hobby used to be about fun, about trading with your friends, about collecting your favorite players. Like, when I was a kid, Bo Jackson, Griffey, Montana, Jerry Rice, all those guys, right? Michael Jordan, obviously, right? And you chase the cards that you actually love. Now, I'm not saying that I still do this now, but most of the time, it's always about this big break here and this big break there. How much this card is worth, and what is this card worth? How much can I sell it for? And what I try to at least instill in my kids, and sometimes even my students, is it's not about the value of the card. It's about just, does that card mean something to you? I had cards still when I was a kid that I know when I actually got them and opened them up and found them at a 7-Eleven or whatever that could be when I was going after a baseball game. I know what baseball game it was that I got it from. I know what the score was, and then what I got in that pack, and I still have them to this day. And it is more of a nostalgia factor, but you know that's what the hobby's about. And nowadays, I believe that's really fading because of you're not even opening packs yourself when you're watching Breaker. So who's going to remember opening a pack? Oh yeah, I bought this pack, when I was watching it online, whatever that could be. Maybe you do remember because it was a great pull and it was exciting and stuff like that. But you're not opening yourself, and then maybe you're not even saving it, you're selling it right off the bat because it's worth a couple $100 or whatever that could be. So you know, now it's kind of I feel it's a manufacturer scarcity. You have a lot of artificial hype, and you have $500 boxes that contain sticker autos of like backup catchers, and yet we still chase it because we remember what it used to feel like, and we want to have that memory on what it felt like before. And that feeling like we had when we had kids ripping opening packs with eyes wide, and they're using us against it, and they're using it kind of against us now. And I believe that they're weaponizing nostalgia, and they squeeze every dollar that they can because now they know that a lot of people got into the market, into the card, into the hobby, the trading, back in the 80s and 90s when it was like booming, and you had a lot of wax pack and you had a lot of people getting into it now. And now those people are getting into it again because they're 30 years old, because they're 40 years old. Now they have full-time jobs and they can afford it again with their kids, and they're having kids of like 5 years old, 6 years old, 10 years old, 13, whatever that could be. And now they're getting back into it. And I believe they're really weaponizing that nostalgia factor because of the fact you have a lot of new collectors getting back into it. And I know from this channel, from about 2,500 subscribers that we have already, I'm sure that there's probably hundreds of subscribers that are brand new to collecting. I know for a fact there's at least hundreds of that are new to the collecting, and they watch these videos. And I appreciate you guys watching this video too. So I mean, they're the feeling we had when we had kids, they're using that kind of against us and making us, go after these things that are double the price, triple the price, or using that nostalgia factor. And even now, everything got more expensive, and depending on what you look at, it could be less fun. A decade ago, 10 years ago, a hobby box, was $100 and it had a guaranteed auto. Now it's $450, for like the Cosmic Chrome, whatever that could be. And they don't even have guaranteed autos in these things. Like, I'm going to buy a box that's $1,000, a half a grand, that doesn't have a guaranteed auto in there. Like, what am I doing, right? So, I mean, obviously I don't do it, right? But, singles may be the way to go, and it is the way to go to buy these things because you don't have to spend that much money on these boxes, right? And, or you do get a sticker of a guy or whatever that could be that is not even going to be on the roster next year. And you spend more, but you get less. Odds are worse. You have quality is worse. The centering. Sometimes cards they're all messed up on the front of the card, and they're all scratched and things like that. And then even the excitement, it's really not the same. The hobby didn't just raise the prices, they stripped out the joy that we used to have when we were kids. And retail, it isn't even a lifeline anymore. Like, you think about retail being like a lifeline and going there and trying to, get things for cheaper than you can go at a hobby shop or online, whatever that could be. And now that's not even there anymore. Like, that used to be there years ago. And now in 2025, that's not even, you can't even guarantee that, right? Like I said, I keep on harping on the optic and things like that. But, I have never even seen it. And a lot of people on this channel and a lot of people in the world have never even seen a lot of these boxes, a lot of these different brands in the actual store because you have all these flippers buying them up in the second, right? And retail used to be the safety net. $20 blasters here, found in the wild, and they still have a shot of something great. Now most shelves are empty, and when restocks do hit, people are waiting with bots or buying out through the back door. And even the boxes that do show up, they've been nerfed, meaning like, they've been like weeded through, and the crap boxes are put on the shelves, and the good boxes from the case hits that they can kind of weigh and things like that are, not even put on the shelf. They're terrible odds. I did the video maybe a month ago or 2 months ago, and they all run together now, right? But about a month ago, we did a video on the odds. It's not like one every 10 packs wins. It's a 10% chance of you winning. You can open 1,000 boxes, and it's still a 10% chance. So there's no guarantees, and even the same, you get the same 5 rookies every time. I've watched a lot of people open up like the tops, or not the tops, the upper deck series 2, looking for like Lane Hudson, Michkov, Celebrini, like these 3 main rookies, and they open up hundreds of packs and have found like one Celebrini rookie, but have found like 20 other similar rookies that weren't as good this year. And it isn't just a vibe, or there isn't just a vibe, but I've got really 3 stories from collectors like you and I that show how far the hobby has shifted away from caring about real people. These aren't extreme cases, they're just real. And the first one I titled the dad who gave up. I'm going to say Mark. I'm just going to give him a name, right? Mark is a dad that, got back into cards when his son came of age, 7 or 8 years old. And they used to hit Target on Saturdays together. Like, oh, you want to go to? They want to go to Target? Yeah, and they go to Target, try to hit cases, right? And rip packs together at home when they got home, and even like build sets, like base sets and things like that. But one week turned into 2, and then 6, and then they couldn't find anything in stores. This is recently, since over the last few months, and he finally bought a couple hobby packs from a local shop, about $30 each, whatever that could be, $25 each, and they pulled nothing. His son was like crushed, because you can't find boxes in the stores now. And they go to the hobby shop and they buy these expensive packs that were once the price of a box, and they can't, and they get nothing, right? His son was crushed. And Mark even told me that I just can't afford to keep letting him down like this. And that was it. And he walked away, and he hasn't been back since. And that kind of hit home because I have a son and a daughter, and they love opening packs, and they love going to Target. Sometimes they say like, oh, we're going to Target again, right? Or we're going to Walmart again. No, but we go to Target and Walmart, just go in there, check out the scene, what's going on. And, we would get packs. We would get, a Heritage or a Big League Baseball, or sometimes, and not an Optic. We never found them, right? But like other things, Topps Chrome. But now it's like, my son always says, you're not going to find anything in there. You're not going to find anything in there. You're not going to find anything in there. And that's just crazy to think that that's happening. And that's my son's thought process, and that's just crazy. So, I mean, let me hit that real fast. I don't know what happened there, but that's what his thought process was, right? You're not going to get anything in there. And that's just because we have never found anything anywhere. And we've been in all these places and there's nothing to find. And that's just one story from just a dad with a son. Another story is the fun break, I guess you could say, that left them broke. That's my title of this story. And it was a group of friends that aren't really that I'm that not aren't that are don't live near me, but they're my college buddies. And they pulled money for a live break, and they've been doing this over the last maybe about 3 or 4 years. And it's a little tradition they do every like monthly or every bi-monthly or even like every half a year where they get together and things like that. And they do like $500 for like a random team, depending on what the break, what the box. I'm not sure which one they get into. And it's like a 3-box hobby break of like maybe select football or like Optic or whatever that could be. And the one time they did it, they got the Texans, and nothing came out, obviously, right? Meanwhile, the breaker pulled like a Zebra T-Law or like a Gold Mahomes. And to someone who had like 3 or 4, even I think they may have 5 spots in that break. And when they asked about like the hit list protection, the breaker laughed it off, saying, that's the risk you take. And that night was supposed to be about fun, but instead, it was a $500 down the drain and reminder that the hobby doesn't play fair. It's almost like the casinos, like some of you have been saying in the comments. So that was one that they did. And this is over the last like few months that they do this. I think they did it back it was March. This is June now. Maybe it was May. And they did it in January, and it was nothing again. And they did it like back in October, nothing again. And they got the Texans the one time. I think they got the Eagles the one time, and they have gotten nothing for the last like 3 or 4 times they did this. And that's just crazy to think that you're paying $500 and you don't even get anything. That's just crazy to think for me, right? That's why I kind of go for singles and I don't even get into that any of stuff. I just like if I want to get a Topps Cosmic Chrome. I know Doc Holliday was saying about how that box was, and he has a video about that now. And it's a great video, a great channel to watch. And we follow each other all the time and comment back and forth with each other, right? But like top Cosmic Chrome, we both are in agreement that it's like a really cool design. But I'm not spending $500, whatever that could be, for that hobby box. But I will go after some singles that I might find, for $2 or $3 and put them in my collection. That's all. Because sometimes my daughter likes the Cosmic Chrome set. That's her favorite. So we go and get singles all the time. But that was a story that left them broke, and they're spending $2,000 now, and they have nothing to show for, which is crazy. It just boggles my mind that still happens, right? And the last one is the kid who was ignored at a card show. This is the one that really hit home. This just happened recently. And it was at a recent show it was a 13-year-old kid, so like my son's age, right? And came up to the dealer's table that was holding a stack of Topps inserts and low-end rookies and some parallels and things like that. And he asked, would you trade for anything? And it was probably about, I was just looking over and just watching him for about 5-7 minutes. And they were going back and forth. And he probably had about, 40, 45, 50 cards, in his thing. And the dealer didn't even look up and said, nah, nothing. I don't want anything from you. And not like, hey, that was pretty cool looking cards, but maybe next time we'll do it. And the dealer's just like, nah, I don't want anything from you. And, or not just like keep going, try to find some better cards and come back and things like that. He just dismissed them like he wasn't even like worth talking to. And the kid walked off like looking embarrassed. And this is like a 13-year-old kid because emotions are all crazy anyway, right? But walking off embarrassed, his parents kind of looked furious because his dad was back there. And that's not the kind of moment that turns a potential lifelong collector into someone who like is going to never come back and never even probably get back into the hobby because of the fact of that. So this might be happening all the time. Maybe it's not happening all the time. Maybe I just saw it one time. That was like the one time for a while, right? But that could be happening all the time because people are just worried about, getting money and flipping it to the next person. It's just the way the hobby is now, and it's a shame that it's like that. And that just hurts my heart because like I teach kids all day, and they always come in and they show me cards, and they're like, I open this pack and I open this thing, or we do like have a treasure chest in my class, and if they do a pretty good job with their IXL, their science IXLs, we put their names into a hat and we pull their names out, and if somebody goes in there and they can open up, they can get erasers, they can get like smelly pencils, they can get haunted Halloween hoops, they can get the football hoops, that we have the haunted Halloween football hoops or the whatever that's what's called, score retreat. And they opened up the packs, and the one kid got a Wemby rookie card. Wasn't worth anything. It's worth like $1 or $2. But he's like, look, I got a Wemby rookie card. And I was like, it wasn't worth anything. But I'm like, that's an awesome card. Like, put that in plastic as soon as you get home. Maybe you want to go grade if it's good. I don't know. And it might be worth $30 or $35. But it's great for your collection to have a Wemby rookie card. And that was just me talking to them. But like, not everybody talks to kids like that. And it's just like, oh, I don't want your thing in there because they think they're trying to get freebies and stuff like that. And it's really a shame that it's came to that. It happens a lot at card shows, at least that I have seen. And if you have seen that too, let us know what you have seen in the comments at card shows, and keep the ball rolling with this, because I want to know other people that have stories about this stuff that's really happening, because I'm just one person and you guys are thousands that watch these videos. So hopefully we can share stories and open up collectors' eyes. And if a person has a stand at a card show, watches one of these videos or reads a comment from our section, and it's like, man, maybe I should open my eyes a little better and do a little better job, and then that helps them out as they're going into the future. That's our goal here. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I'm not asking for a handout. We're not asking for guaranteed hits in every pack, but we just want the hobby to be for us again, right? Just for us again. Fun, fair, accessible, I guess you can call it, inclusive. That's not asking too much, I don't think. And it's asking for what the hobby that it used to be. So if you felt this too, make sure that you drop a comment and share your story, like I said before. And if you want to stay ahead of the game and get updates that you can actually use, make sure you comment Insider, and I'll send you that list, or I'll send you that link that you can be on that list. We can't fix the hobby overnight, but we can remind the companies who built this and the people that are maybe watching this that are at card shows and stuff like that, that why they built this in the first place. And that's why I think a lot of people that watch this video are, and I feel the same way. That's why I want to make this video for you guys. But I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and we will talk to you later. Do it for Dale. Peace.